Grow your practice, grow your wealth, grow your impact. Find out how to spend less time in the dental chair and more time on the things you love.
I want to welcome you back to the Dental Wealth Podcast. Eric J. Morin. This podcast is dedicated to keeping dentistry in the hands of dentists, showing dentists how to use their practice to create wealth, to create autonomy, to create the life you've always wanted. And I want to spend some time today talking about really, truly something that I keep hearing, and it's kind of, you hear it over again, and sometimes you just need to speak on it. And that's what I want to do. So the concept is I'm kind of hearing a lot of people in the marketplace who, they're in their 30s or in their 40s, and it's this constant, I want to stop, right? I want to stop. I want to quit. I don't want to have to work anymore, and I want to be able to stop and retire, right? Because we're sold in this constant state of retirement, and dentistry is a physically hard job, and so it's this idea of, I just want to be able to stop. The mistake is that it's not about stopping. It's about what you get to do with your time. And the whole purpose of life, the whole purpose of what we're trying to do is create. We're trying to build. We're trying to lead. And at Tower Leadership, one of the things I do is I spend a lot of time talking to people about becoming a great leader and moving from being a producer to a leader. One of the biggest problems is that as a dental practitioner, you're stuck in the dental chair all day long and you don't really get to lead. You don't get to be in the marketplace doing the things you want to be doing. When I say the marketplace, I mean your business and in the community and being able to be that leader. And now sometimes when a business finally grows big enough and maybe the doctor has some associates in, they get to move more to the point of being a leader. But you don't have to wait till you get to that point. When you'll see one of the biggest struggles at first when you explain the concept is I can show dentists how to make more money outside of the chair than in the chair. Let me say that again. I can show you how to make more money outside the chair than being in the chair. What I need to do is move you to become a better leader. That's why this company that I work with, my company is created. It's called Tower Leadership. People don't understand, why don't I call it Tower Management? Management's about managing processes. What we have to do is go to work to help you to become a better leader. Your teams deserve better leaders, right? Your patients deserve a better leader. Your community, your family, its legacy. And so, when we start thinking about it, what I want you to do is stop this thought process about retirement and giving up. Anyone who's spent time with me has learned that we can create a tremendous amount of wealth using this dental practice. That if we know where to put our time and energy within a dental practice, we can do amazing things, and we can invest and we can create an amazing life. And life that means autonomy. It means to be able to come and go when you want. It means the ability to have the life you want and impact those. But like the idea of stopping, this idea of I'm not going to work anymore. I'm going to sit around. It's just kind of a fallacy. I want you to start thinking about this. It's not about quitting, and it's not about stopping. It's about what do I want to spend my time doing? Now, if you're listening to this thinking, well, I just want to spend my time maybe on the beach or the golf course all the time. Do you? Do you? I mean, that sounds great, but at the end of the day, you can only travel so much and you can only play so much golf. Life is about impact. It's about making a difference. It's about seeing the people around you life change. I was just reading a book. It's about legacy and how everything you do affects the next generation and the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. What if you lived your life with that intention? What if you woke up with that intention? What if you walked into your dental practice with that intention, with that fire, with that intention about becoming a leader? What I would challenge you to do is spend less time focused on time off and more focused on becoming a leader. More time focused on how do I lead this team? More time focused on how do I create a leadership team? Here's a great question. In your dental practice, what are you doing to foster great leaders? What are you doing to create leaders within your own practice? Years ago, unfortunately, I had a dental practitioner pass away. He was a client of mine. So I fly out to his office, and his office is in Indiana. And I swear there was cornfields. I mean, literally, you could go to the cornfields. I mean, I think the closest hotel to his office was about an hour and a half. And I get out there and I walk in, and you got to imagine, if you're in the cornfields of Indiana, you have to understand there's not a lot of jobs and there's not a lot of opportunities. And I will tell you that his team, the leaders, rose in that team. And they, by the way, within 24 hours, I kind of pointed them in the right direction. Because if you're in the cornfields of Indiana, do you do every procedure? Right? Do you do every procedure if you're in the cornfields of Indiana? Well, absolutely you do, of course. Well, within 24 hours, we booked 6 months of restorative dentistry. Within 24 hours. It's the power of intention. And the leaders rose. And by the way, the next month, we collected more than that practice had collected in over 32 years. So here's what I want you to take from that. Okay? This life is worth living. It's a life worth intentionality. It's a life worth leadership. So what I'm going to tell you is this. Yeah, I want you to be able to practice less if you want to. If you want to, some people want to practice 4 or 5 days a week, 6 days a week. That's fine. But I'm saying if you want to get to the point, right, we'll show you how to get out of the chair and create wealth. That's so important. That's what this podcast is about. But I also want to show you that if you want to create wealth, if you want to create a massive amount of wealth, you have to become a great leader. And if I were you, I'd spend more time focused on that end, on that goal, on creating leadership teams, right? Not incentive plans that don't work, trying to, you have people who aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, so we'll pay our way out of management. We'll talk about that later. But what I want you to do is become a phenomenal leader, and you'll see that if you do that and you put your time into that and your energy into that, let me show you how to do that. When you start that process, when you start a process about becoming an amazing leader, when you start doing that, when you start living intentionally, when you start creating an intentional business, that's what's created the greatest businesses of all time. And I will tell you, think big and dream big, because that's what leaders do. And they share that vision with their team and they lead them there. I want you to have a great week, but I want you to spend some time this week thinking about being intentional in your practice. When you walk in, they're watching you. They're thinking about you. They're listening to you. So are your kids, so are your family. It's time to be the leader. And it's time to be the business owner. And if you are a great leader, if you think, hey, Eric, I am a great leader, and I feel like I take care of my people, and I'm a great spouse, or I'm a great husband, or a great wife, you think about this and say, well, I'm already a great place. Great, let's keep going, because there's no end in sight, right? There's no end. So if you're on a great path, let's continue moving that path and get better, and move you from being a producer to a leader. I'm working with a gentleman right now I'm just so impressed by. And, he's a young dentist, but he's in multiple locations, and he's very successful, and he's doing extremely well. And it's interesting when I think about him, because where he spends most of his time is on leadership. And he's moving himself out of the chair and more time becoming an intentional leader. And I was thinking about this firm that I recently was talking to, and they had told me that they have 6 locations and that they had spent over $300,000 on consulting, and yet they still did not have a vision, and they still did not know how to lead. The problem with consulting is it focuses on systems, but I'm telling you, without the leadership, without that foundation in place, it won't stick anyhow. You can think, if you've ever done this before, you'll know what I'm talking about, that it doesn't work. So focus on you. Let's focus on getting you out of the chair, if that's what you want to do, and showing you how to become a great leader. And as you become a better leader, that will lead to wealth. And as you become wealthier, that'll lead to an amazing amount of impact. Have a great week.